Welcome everybody. What I'm going to do today is talk about the drone logistics ecosystem, which is a free global multidisciplinary, what we call quadruple helix network of companies, universities, public and investors, with the aim to stimulate innovations, collaborations and standardization in the drone logistics industry. Most of the companies in the industry are early stage startups with limited access to funding, manpower and expertise. So what we're trying to do is create that forum to bring these companies together and as a group to be able to promote both the drone logistics ecosystem, but also promote investment in the industry. And I think most of us are aware of the drone delivery market. We have everything from the basic infrastructure, we have operators, and we have people that manufacture the equipment. And what we've tried to do is bring everybody together. I think what people forget, if you look at the drone, the market size for cargo delivery, it was about, advanced air mobility, and that's now taking, was about 528 million in 2020. Very small still, but according to Deloitte, it's expected to reach 58 billion by 2035. But we need to look at it in a much bigger context. The drone logistics forms part of what we call the greater global courier, package and postal delivery industry, which last year was worth 300 billion. And we see drones not only competing with, but also complementing other sustainable forms of delivery, from your courier bikes with a guy pedaling to big, massive cargo aircraft, ships, etc., moving packages across the world. Typically a DHL, Amazon, any of those companies, but also we see a lot of collaboration between both the big guys like DHL and the small guys. So we see the drone industry being very much a localized focus on the SUAS side. I'm not going to go into the big aircraft like the X-wing caravans and aircraft like that are being developed as drones, as uncrewed aircraft. What we're looking at more is the SUAS side, and we see very much like companies like DHL outsource the last mile delivery to smaller companies. We see that drone thing, because I think it's also about local knowledge, local expertise, and local acceptance by communities. I think what we've seen is with the COVID-19 pandemic is that the pandemic has had accelerated the expansion of the drone delivery market for short range and payloads of 1 to 12 kgs, really around things like delivering medicines, delivering vaccines, but also, as Manna have been doing, helping, and Wing have been doing, is delivering groceries to people that couldn't go out, old people, people with comorbidities, etc., so that they could be taken care of without putting themselves at risk. We really, as the drone logistics ecosystem, our mode of operation is really around bringing together all the bits and pieces: education, standardization, networking, consulting, innovation, sponsorship, etc., fundraising, and to create something that is viable, but also promotes the industry from the smallest company to the biggest company. And we have, in the year that we've been running, since the 7th of July, 2021, we've managed to grow the drone logistics ecosystem to 46 companies in 21 countries. And if anybody counts, there's 45 there. We were fortunate enough yesterday to welcome Switzerland's Rigitech into the drone logistics ecosystem. So we grew to 46 this week. And really what we see as the drone logistics ecosystem is a one-stop solution for the industry and for the customer. So basically broken down into all of the various components that make up an ecosystem. And one of the companies that was one of the founders is a company called Ego Design, together with an Australian company and a French company, formed the drone logistics ecosystem. And those two companies were Free Space Operations, who have built a very, very good drone, and the other one was Dragonfly Pads in France. So what we see is the drone logistics ecosystem. As I said again, it integrates into that global package, parcel and courier delivery industry. And we see items moving from the factory, the first mile, same day. That could be by truck. It could also be by drone, depending on what the item is. I mean, if you're sending a $1,000 iPhone, probably fly it, especially if you're in a country like South Africa, where I think most of you have seen on YouTube the case of where somebody attempted to hijack a truck carrying the high-end smartphones between a warehouse and a store. So, and that we see those items moving to a sorting station. From there, it would be moved packaged into, for example, in its box still. And we see the whole idea of having a standardized cargo box for a drone delivery is that there is no opportunity for people to touch the item. The item is securely in a box. That box is locked with electronic locks. Each box is completely traceable. So at any point in time, we know exactly where the box is. And those boxes would then be 300 of them would fit into a standard container, such as the LO3 container, for example, LD3 container, that's used all over the world on a lot of the major aircraft. From there, it would be flown hundreds, thousands of miles to another sorting, and then end up in another sorting station. From there, it could go by truck to a vertiport, or the vertiport could be next to the station. And then the item could be delivered, same day delivery. And it could be delivered by drone, it could be delivered by bicycle, motorbike, whatever, to your office. Just a little bit about who the people are, the key people in the drone logistics industry. It's Dr. Ali Jahanshahi, who is the Global Executive Director. We have Rick in Europe. We have Ryan in North America, myself in Africa, Tiago in Brazil, and Asa in East Asia, based in Japan. And what we've been busy with, and this is really looking at the things, we've been working with various companies on a first proof of concept campaign, which was 6 months with 5 companies on 4 continents. And it was to develop and test and promote the whole idea of this. Starting with firstly Rangus, which is the market in the region Ile-de-France. And we did a program doing over 50 deliveries. That was with Dragonfly Pads. That was done last year. Then we have another project, Redcliffe Light Tech, which was moving samples, companies involved with Sky Air in India and SAW. Then we also worked with Alpha Swift Industry and Tramigo in Malaysia. And that is, we are running over 400 to conduct 400 hours or 16,000 kilometers drone testing over a period with drone robotics zone, supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology in Malaysia and sponsored by DHL. And then in Australia, as I mentioned, one of our co-founders of the of the DLE was Free Space Operations. They are running a number of tests on things such as ship to shore, 5 to 50 kilometers, specifically with regard to maritime applications. And then in the USA, EGO Design together with Bakari and Tramigo are running a proof of concept project in Chicago and across other cities in the USA. Started in February for 6 months for drone delivery, covering distances of around 10 kilometers. And that brings it to an end. If you got any questions, I would be more than happy to address them.